Hello and welcome to Midlife Meltdown. I'm Ian, and in today's video I want to talk about the phrase whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And if you're stuck in a narcissistic relationship, or even if you're recovering from a narcissistic relationship and you're really finding it difficult to hang on to a ray of hope of feeling like you're wasting your life, or you have wasted your life, and struggling to find the positive out of all of this, I want to tell you a couple of stories that hopefully will relate and give you something to cling on to. Now, I hope this video turns out okay. I'm out with my dogs again. There they are, being stupid. I may have to edit this video a number of times. I'm in an area where there's quite a lot of wildlife, so if they do see deer, and there are a couple of hares that live around here, they will be off. But the point of this video really is just to go through and tell you a couple of times in my life where I've been extremely challenged, where I thought I wouldn't really make it through, this being one of them. But actually, coming out of it, I've learned a lot of lessons in life, and it's made me significantly stronger. And if you are struggling, hopefully that will give you some inspiration and give you some hope and something to latch onto. So the key thing to understand about this is I genuinely feel that going through the narcissistic abuse, the significant abuse that I went through in my relationship, and it wasn't just once, it was multiple times, but particularly the last 3 years, I genuinely almost ended myself. I felt absolutely worthless. I genuinely hit rock bottom, and coming out of it, part of the reason why I make these videos is to turn it into a positive. But actually, I've learned a huge amount, a significant amount. Like, I genuinely feel like I've done a PhD in narcissistic personality disorder. But I've also learned a significant lot about myself in terms of what I was deficient in, how strong I can be, what I've learned throughout my years. And you can as well. And I think narcissistic abuse is definitely one of those things that can ruin you and leave you with a lot of damage, but if you can latch on to the point of trying to take a learning from it and not feeling like you've wasted your time, or you've given yourself to someone, or given your life to someone with nothing in return, it can turn into a very dark path. So think about the positives, think about what you can learn, think about how strong you will come out. And the key thing I'd like to emphasize there is, if you want to be an extraordinary person, or an extremely strong person, you can't do that by doing ordinary things. And it's going through a narcissistic relationship, and especially being in one long term, puts you in a very niche group of people. A very small percentage of the world go through the depths of narcissistic abuse, and that makes you unique and hopefully a stronger person if you come out of it okay. And there's another occasion in my life that I'd like to talk about that a similar kind of things happened, not in a relationship, but actually in my career, and the two things are quite related. So to give you a bit of a backstory, I spent most of my career working in financial services, in insurance particularly, and for a good 10, maybe 12 years of that, I was working for the insurance business in Europe of one of the largest American corporations at the time. And that was from about 2003 up until about 2012, 2013, I forget, maybe 2014. And as a business, we insured banks against the chances of people defaulting on their mortgages. So the product is mortgage insurance, and it's a business-to-business insurance. And I say, if you take out a mortgage that's high loan to value, the bank will a lot of the times insure that top portion of your loan with a company like ours, in case you can't pay your mortgage and they sell your house and make a loss, and they can reclaim the money. So that was all going very well. Housing market was booming in the 2000s, and in our European business we were insuring all across Europe, and had our biggest market in countries like Spain, Italy, a lot of the UK. And of course, come 2007, 2008, the financial crisis hit, and that financial crisis was predominantly driven by people defaulting on their mortgages. You know, people unscrupulously lending to people who shouldn't or couldn't be borrowing mortgages and couldn't repay them. You know, extremely low interest rates, and also companies packaging up those mortgages and selling them off and securitizing them and bundling them up and rating them as securities that weren't what they thought they were. And if you haven't seen, or if you're not sure about what happened in the financial crisis, I'd recommend watching a movie called The Big Short. It kind of gives a very good simplistic view of what happened. But needless to say, as a company insuring banks against people defaulting on their mortgages, 2008 for me was a pretty challenging time, and the subsequent years, really the subsequent 4 or 5 years after that, were extremely difficult. And when that hit, it caused a lot of panic, a lot of anxiety. You know, our biggest market, as I say, was Spain, and for those of you in the US or elsewhere, you know, Spain, the mortgage crisis in Spain was comparable really to like Florida in the US. You know, you're talking about villages, towns of properties that were built as new build properties that never sold and became ghost towns. It was, you know, the massive overbuilding and overselling of mortgages to people that were just never going to buy them and could never afford to buy them. So it was a significant challenge, and say for about the next 4 years we were literally fighting for the survival of our business at the time. And you know, throughout that time, every 6 months for about the next 4 years, there were waves of redundancies. You know, I had to let a lot of people go in teams that I were managing, had to give a lot of people bad news, and was in constant fear and anxiety about losing my job. You know, it was every half year or end of year, you'd expect the next wave of redundancies to come around, expect the business to close. And it gave me the discipline to deal with anxiety and to let things go. And going through that cycle and somehow through, I don't know, maybe a bit of skill, hard work, a lot of luck, I managed to survive, and actually my career really thrived through those years. And you know, I progressed my career in ways a lot better than I would have done if that didn't happen. And I say a lot of that's just down to luck. But the key thing that I think was very similar to the situation I've just gone through with my relationship is, while I'd never want to repeat that process again, those years in my career were extremely valuable to me, both personally and career-wise. You know, I learned a huge amount. I learned a lot about myself, about how to deal with pressure, how to deal with stress, how to deal with anxiety. Career-wise, I was exposed to things that I would have never been exposed to otherwise. You know, new business types, new companies, new, you know, experiences, just having to get stuff done with less people. You know, a lot of learnings in managing people, and it really formed a lot of my career. And coming out of that, having gone through that and survived that experience, I always feel like in my career I feel like I've had an experience that not a lot of people that I come across in other companies have, and it sets you apart. It gives you a very calm head under pressure. It makes you think in different ways to other people, and as I've come out of this relationship, I feel very similar, and that's a lot of reasons why I make these videos, is that I feel like I've been through an experience that not many people in the world have. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you're either going through a similar experience or you have been through a similar experience. And I guess my message to you is, if you're thinking you've wasted your life or you've wasted your time, then try and flip that the other way and realize that the experience you're going through or you have been through sets you apart. And while I certainly wouldn't want to go through that experience again given any choice, I have to look at what I've learned through that experience and how it's made me a stronger person. And the only way you can learn that lesson is by going through those extraordinary circumstances. You become, you know, an extraordinary person, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way, like I'm better than other people, but I have an experience that not many people have, and hopefully through making these videos I can share that and help other people learn from it. And that's really it for you guys watching as well, is don't feel like you're wasting your time, don't feel like you're wasting your life. Like, obviously try and deal with the situation and be aware that it can kill you or make you stronger. Like, hopefully you'll make it through it. You know, some people, I believe, don't. Some people will make the choice to stay in narcissistic relationships and suffer the abuse for a long time, or maybe for the rest of their life. I certainly know some people that have done that and are still doing it, you know, even into their later years. But on the flip side, if you do come out of it, you will become a stronger person. You will experience and learn things about yourself, about life, about other people that other people just won't experience. And while there's some harshness to that and some negativity to that, there is a lot of positives as well. And you can take that and use it for the rest of your life, and it will benefit you, and you'll become a stronger, more disciplined person because of it. And the other challenge, I would say, the other thing, the skill that is a real life skill to learn, not just coming through a bad relationship, but a real life skill to learn, that I would urge anyone to do, is as you're going through negative thoughts, you know, there's an exercise I do regularly, and actually I find it the easiest to do when I'm running or doing an exercise that allows me to focus. But running's a massive one for me. Is, you know, one thing I learned going through that experience in my career is that change and disruption brings opportunity. And no matter what's happening, what's changing in your life, whether it's good or bad, there's an exercise you can do with your mind just to challenge yourself to try and think of an opportunity within that. So, for example, you know, I always think, you know, the next financial crisis comes along. Okay, I might lose my job. You know, the financial markets are going to go to hell, but there's an opportunity in there if you have any spare money to go and invest in stocks that are massively down, and that happened in the last financial crisis. So, you know, instead of focusing on the fear, instead of focusing on the anxiety, challenge your brain, challenge yourself to try and think of at least one positive opportunity. That if you go against the grain, if you look for the change in the tides, what's the opportunity there, and try and turn that into a positive. Because I guarantee you, whatever's happening, positive or negative, where there's change, there's opportunity, and just try to find that opportunity where it is. You know, if you have to move, if you have to move house, if you have to be on your own, if you have to start a new job, try and find the opportunity there. You know, does a new house give you a new opportunity to start something new? Does it give you more free time? You know, and it may not be anything significant, but I guarantee there is always some opportunity there for you to look into. And that's really it. It's a short video today. Just wanted to kind of give a message of hope for anyone going through it, and just to let you know that there is an upside to this. And, you know, like I said, to go through, or to be a different person, you have to go through different circumstances, and what you're going through with narcissistic abuse, with a toxic relationship, is different. It's not positive, and like I said, I doubt anyone would want to go through it willingly, but look for the positive coming out the other side of it. It will make you a different person, both for bad but also for good. You will come out, if you come out the other side of it, a much stronger person, and that's a good thing. And take that, learn from it, use it for the rest of your life for your benefit. Not many people have that. And that's really it for this video. You know, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. If you find these videos useful, let me know. Again, if you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is subscribe to it, like the video, and share it with others. Have a good day.